Well, I have cooked up the ultimate arrow for my recurve, and today I want to share that with you guys. Hope you guys enjoy this video. I have been playing around with my recurve for now over a year, which I was introduced by a fellow YouTuber, Instinctive Archery. He has an amazing channel. If you're just trying to get into recurves, I highly encourage you guys to check him out. But he literally taught me everything I know about the basics of tuning, finding your arrow spine. Him and the guy over at Kifru. Sometimes I forget his name, but regardless, it'll come to me. But anyways, yeah, I got into recurves about a year ago, coming from shooting a compound. I have really found myself shooting my recurve more than I've been shooting my compound, and I think it's just because of the style. And for me, I'm just, once I get hooked to something, I can't get off of it, and I cannot stop thinking about stalking an animal, a big muley, or, you know, stalking something and shooting it with my traditional bow. But with that, if you're going to go take an animal's life, you've got to have a really, really solid arrow and a setup that you're confident in. So in today's video, again, I'm going to show you guys the arrow that I built up that I have got flying out of my bow wicked, wicked fast and wicked straight. So what I'm holding in my hand right now is a Rampage Black Eagle 500 spine, 400 spine, and with these Rampages, they have a half out insert, so half of the insert is inside, half of the insert is outside, with a back weight, because Black Eagle offers the back weight, a 50 grain back weight in the insert. So the insert itself is 50 grains, and then the back weight is 50 grains, so that puts me at 100 grains up front with a 100 grain point. Now, with this setup, I shoot this arrow out of both my Hoisatori, which draws 40 pounds, 42 pounds. It's a 45 pound limb at 28. I don't have a 28 inch draw, but I have consistently checked it, and I'm drawing between 42 and 44, depending on, you know, where I'm drawing it that day. But I shoot this arrow out of that bow with a 100 grain point, field point, and I shoot this arrow out of my Bear traditional takedown with a 125 grain point. So that's what's on right now. But I've been shooting a 4-fletch Trad Vane with the right helical. This is the 3-inch Trad Vane, and I tested this with the AAE Hybrid Phoenix Vane, which I just came out with just a quick opinion overview on this. I'll drop the video in the bio or at the end of this video somewhere. You could go watch that if you haven't checked them out. Interesting video. I tried them with that. I tried them with the 4-inch Trad, and I tried with feathers. And for me, this setup they fly the best out of this bow. And so you guys, this right now, my FOC, I haven't actually got a true calculation on my FOC, but it's really good FOC. And I want to give you guys my thoughts behind why I built this arrow the way that I built this arrow. First and foremost, because I have tinkered and I have so many different broadheads from my compound that I didn't want to have to go and get into the crazy front weights that you see people go with in their traditional bows. And this could be like totally obsolete. I mean, I don't see a lot of guys doing what I'm doing here, but my whole ideology behind building this arrow and building arrows that shoot strong out of those bows that I've just mentioned is I want to keep my front weight, my point weight at 100 grains or 125 grains. Like, I don't really care to go into the 150s, 175s, 200 grains, 300 grains. I don't want to go into that range. So I was on a mission to figure out what arrow and what build I can create to shoot my bow, to shoot confidently with the 100 grain or 125 grain point weight. And you guys, I have a plethora of arrows that I have went through and tried and tested before figuring out exactly this setup. And I have one that's really comparable. So this is my new hunting arrow. This is my new arrow that I'm just going to be using for both of those bows. I built it. I love it. It's the best arrow that I personally found. The best setup that I personally found. And I think you know, if you guys can see what I'm talking about, which I'm going to add some B-roll into me shooting in a little bit, you know, you'll see what I'm talking about. Like, this is just a solid setup. But I had something that compared quite readily. It was a really good setup, which was the Gold Tip Hunter 500 spine with the 100 grain brass in the front and 100 grain point weight, with the 3-inch trad vane with a right twist. This is a 3-fletch. This is a 4-fletch. Now, theory behind the 3 and the 4. The 4-fletch, you know, supposedly is going to spin faster, but it's also going to slow down more. So right now, my point of impact is between 35 and 37 yards. I'm right there close. 35 yards, my point of impact. So when I put my point on my target, 35 yards, I'm smacking down. And that's, you know, that's a perfect shot with this arrow. It flies really, really good. And you guys, that's with my Satori, which my Satori is, like I said, pulling around 40 pounds, 42 pounds. I haven't got my point of impact because with my Eichler, my Bear takedown, because I'm shooting a 60-pound limb, but I'm only drawing 52 pounds with that bow, and I'm not so confident in my shooting ability to go beyond 35 yards right now. And I'm working on it. I know the only way you get better is if you shoot and practice, but right now, that's a solid arrow that's flying perfect at 35 yards, point on, 35 yards, 4-fletch. And so I haven't had any problems, and I don't think I'm going to go try to shoot an animal past 35, maybe 40 yards with my recurve. Now, this 3-fletch, this arrow flies really, really good out of my, only out of my Satori. And I think it's just because its spine is a little softer, but if I put 125 grain point weight up here, it does not fly very good. So 100 grain point weight, 100 grain brass flies really good. Now, those two arrows, like, I put this arrow in, I shoot this arrow, we're going to go out and shoot here in a second, but I shoot this arrow every day, multiple times, you know, throughout the day. I shoot probably 50 to 70 arrows a day, and this is just one of my practice arrows that I'm going to keep shooting and shooting and shooting. This will be my hunting arrow. This is what I'm going to, like, have confidence in flying a broadhead. Now, with that being said, what kind of broadhead am I going to actually use? That really leads me to this whole arrow build and what inspired me to do this in the first place. I want to shoot a 100 grain expandable. I said it. I want to shoot a 100 grain expandable with my recurve, and I have my reasoning behind that, and this is why. I have not had the best luck shooting any fixed blades out of my recurve or my compounds in the past, and I know that really just comes down to tuning, and it comes down to a plethora of other things, but, like, truth be told, I have confidence shooting the Rage expandable. This is the Plus P. This is the Trypan Plus P. It's a no collar Rage, and I know I'm going to get so much hate for this. Leave your guys' hate comments below. I'd love to hear them. But if you've actually shot this broadhead and you've had success with it, then let me know. I've shot a bull elk with this broadhead. I've shot a red stag with this broadhead. I shot chamois with this broadhead. I shot a bunch of animals with this broadhead. And what mule deers with this broadhead. But where I'm going with this is it flies like a field point. And I've been testing it. I haven't had any deflection. I haven't had any problem shooting this broadhead with my recurve with this setup, okay? And it leads me to this idea that, you know, just because traditional archers, just because this community of traditional archers, you know, is so infatuated with the idea of, like, the big heavy broadheads up front, and that's just what everybody shoots, I feel like that's what everybody goes with. And so when we hear traditional archery, we don't think shooting an expandable broadhead, you know, with practically a compound type arrow. Like, I would shoot something like this out of my compound, you know, a 4-fletch, not these Vanes, obviously. The Vanes that just, they're too soft. But maybe I'll try it, I don't know. But the broadhead idea behind it was, you know, I could have confidence shooting this arrow, and I know that it's going to fly straight, and it's going to be fast, and it's going to have a broadhead that will kill. I mean, when this thing opens up, you have 2 inches of cutting diameter, which you're not going to get out of a traditional broadhead. And, you guys, I've tried, right? I've tried the razor heads. There's nothing wrong with razor heads. I don't think that these are bad broadheads. Don't hear what I'm not saying, but my experience shooting the razor heads versus shooting this is night and day. I'm getting groups with this. I'm not getting good groups with this. And it could just be something I'm doing wrong. So, you know, you experienced archers that have been shooting traditional bows and hunting with them for years and years, please give me advice. You know, I've been watching a lot of the instinctive archery videos. He's really, really good. He shares his thoughts and opinions. But again, this is just my excitement expressed on what I've decided to build that has finally worked. After a year of practicing and shooting every type of arrow and just tinkering, like, this arrow, this build has been the most consistent shooting, straightest shooting, fastest flying arrow yet. And I'm pumped about that. I'm excited about that. I have confidence to go take an animal with this. So that's my arrow setup. That's my arrow build. I do have a fixed blade here. This is the QAD Exodus. Yeah, I don't know exactly. I know they make 2 different types just with how the blade is. Some states are different in what they allow. But the bow does not like that arrow, or I mean that broadhead. So I'm not going to shoot that broadhead. But let's go out and shoot some of these. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about when I say this thing flies wicked well. And yeah, hopefully we can show you guys, you know, some results. But I'm going to start out, I'm going to shoot the bear takedown. This is the Fred Eichler riser with Selway on it. I put 3, I just put a little nub weight system on the bottom, which seems to work really well. If you guys haven't seen my Satori video, I shoot 3 fingers under. It's just where I'm comfortable. This is a 60-pound limb, but with my draw, I'm only pulling 50 pounds. So I'm gonna shoot a couple. I'll walk you guys down to the group after we get there. I shoot the 4 fletch, which again, you guys, I have really enjoyed with, and again, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm the best and I know everything about how these bows work. I know that people have been doing this for a lot longer than me. I'm still learning myself. But in whole, I've been shooting consistently every single day for the last year, shooting a recurve. And snow, no snow, weather, I've been shooting every single day, you guys, not exaggerating. And I've gotten pretty decent with this bow. And I've gotten really decent with my Satori as well, and I've shot a lot of different arrow configurations, but this one seems to fly the straightest and the fastest downrange. So I'm gonna shoot a couple. Don't judge me for my my bad habits, but this is what works for me. Perfect shot. These are the 4 fletch. Really a fun perfect shot. Fun bow. So a couple things that I'm doing to this bow. I'm gonna be ordering the triple T strings. I've just, this bow this string I went and picked up. It's just a standard Flemish string. Picked up in my local archery shop. It's got a lot of stretch in it. That's one thing I've already noticed with this. I've shot it for about a year, maybe 11 months, and it's time for a new string. I'm always constantly having to take twists, put it in the string, and it's just kind of a pain in the butt. Perfect shot. Okay, now I'll shoot one more 4 fletch, and then I'm gonna go into the 3 fletch. I'll try to get some video of you guys, so you guys can actually see how these things fly. They're super flat flying arrows. Perfect. So now I'm gonna go to the 3 fletch. But as I was saying, I'm gonna swap out my strings. I'm gonna fix that, and then I'm also gonna go down in poundage on my bow. I'm looking for a set right now of 50-pound limbs for this particular bow. I think I'd just be more consistent with it. You know, shooting a 60-pound limb it's not easy. You know, doing it consistently, shooting a 60-pound limb is actually really difficult. It's a lot of weight to draw, and I can do it. I've been doing it, but I just think the 50-pound limb, I'd be just as accurate you know, but I'd also have more fun shooting it on a daily basis. You know, I can only shoot 30 arrows out of this thing before I'm just tired. So, man, those fly good. But the reason why I like the heavy limb is because of how flat my shooting point is, right? I mean, I told you guys 35 yards with my Satori is my point on. Well, I bet this is 45 yards point on with my this particular bow, just because of the draw weight. Perfect shot. I ended out with a perfect bullseye. So I'm gonna walk down there, grab my arrows. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna try to set you guys up so you can actually see how good these things are flying. All right, so I got you all set up downrange. You're zoomed in. We're at about 15 yards right now. And I'm gonna start with the 4-fletch so you guys can see how these things fly. And then I'll step back to like 30 yards and let you guys see how they fly. Super flat. All right. Look at that. Perfect shot. That's a 4-fletch. They're beautiful too. They just fly so flat. Such a good arrow. This is the 4-fletch. Good shot. Go with the next 4-fletch. So as you guys can see, I mean, they're just super nice, flat flying arrows. I like them. This is definitely the build I've been trying to come to. Good shot. So as you guys can see why I'm talking about these arrows and why I built them. I think this is the perfect setup for me, for my rig, for what I do. And I'm super happy with it. So this is the last 4-fletch, and then I'll go to that 3-fletch. Ooh, a little off. That was me. Now we're going to the 3-fletch. The 3-fletch, and I'm curious to see how I'm curious to see how this 4-fletch is going to hold up. I mean, obviously shooting off the shelf, my vanes take a beating, especially with how much I shoot. So the 4-fletch, I'm curious to see if it's gonna last as long as my 3-fletch do. But again, you know, we'll have to see. That's gonna take time. The 3-fletch, here we go. Really flat shooting arrow, and you guys can see why I have confidence with this arrow as well. It's just a good arrow. It's a flat shooting arrow, and I would hunt with the 3-fletch. The 4-fletch, it just seems like it definitely spins faster, especially at distance, which we're going to go back. I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. But yeah, that's a really, really good shooting arrow, you guys. Try to zoom back. Whoa! So, yeah, let me go pick these arrows up and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I just stepped back here to 30 yards. We're going to start with the 4-fletch and then we will move into the 3-fletch. But I wanted to give you guys this angle as well, just so you can see how nice and flat these things fly. So, shot number 1. This is the one that matters. A little low, but I would have wounded him. But as you guys can see, just super, super fast, super flat. For 30 yards, pretty decent. Decent shot. He would have been dying there. Alright, my next 4-fletch. That was a bad shot. That first one's what counts, you know? Let's move into the 3-fletch here. This is the 3-fletch, flying down range. So fast, really fast, right? I mean, that's the biggest thing to notice with this, is just that they're quick. They're fast flying arrows, they're flat flying arrows, and that's why, again, you guys, over the feather, right, over the plastifletch, these vanes, they just seem to work the best for me. But what I was shooting here was the Bear Takedown Fred Eichler. I'm going to be coming out with a full review of this. This is about my 11th month, or no, it's my 9th month shooting this. It's my 11th month shooting the Satori. So I haven't come out with my official review of this bow yet, but I'm going to. And I'm super pumped to bring you guys my opinion. And then I'll do a comparison of both the Bear Traditional Takedown and the standard Satori. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments on that arrow build. If I'm crazy for shooting my my mechanical, or if you think that I need to go and really consider a fixed blade. If you guys have a fixed blade that you'd consider, please drop it in the comments. I'll check it out. And then you guys, it helps the channel if you subscribe. Obviously, don't subscribe if you don't like the content, but it doesn't take much to just like and subscribe. So thank you guys. See you on the next video.